Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's TRI Crypto Countdown, TRI 100 Crypto Review, TRI's Top 100 Crypto, TRI Crypto Party. Anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity, everyone. I don't know what the hell to say at the beginning of these damn shows, but it is a fun couple hours that we get to spend every Wednesday chit-chatting about crypto. Of course, I'll give you my sort of technical 2 cents for whatever that's worth. Current bid, I think about 0.00001 on the pink sheets, as we used to say. Got, of course, my name's Brian Beamish, aka The Rational Investor. And, of course, you all know the website, therationalinvestor.com. I have my co-hosts, and one of them has to go to the bathroom, so I wanted to introduce him quickly. I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, he was kind of like, "Hey, Brian, I got to take off here in a minute, so just let me just say hello, and then I'll go." Anyway, so we got Ben on the call here tonight. Ben, how you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So now you can take off if you need to. Stay, go at your leisure. It's up to you. And actually, it's kind of cool. In the lounge, I see tonight somebody's written a sell half on a double indicator, and it says I've added a fee calculation feature to the sell half on a double script. Thank you, Steve RLZ. That's kind of cool. I just saw that in the lounge out of my corner of my eye. And I also noticed, too, a lot of people, and I guess what brought it to mind is a lot of people have been asking me about Ben's rule of 72, which I thought was super neat. So maybe if we're lucky tonight, we can have him show us an example or two of that. As well, on the call, we have the Romanian Nightmare. It's early morning, so hopefully you didn't have any nightmares last night. But we have Paul on the call. Paul, are you here tonight?
Good morning. I didn't have time to have nightmares.
Oh, didn't have time. Too busy, huh? That's good. So we got another action-packed episode for you. We don't have the cameras on. Actually, I just went and got a haircut, so I'm looking all spiffy now. But we don't have the cameras on. We just have this sort of this front sheet thing here we have. And by the way, a couple of people asked me if they could have access to this document. But what we've done is Ben actually created this little app, top 10 crypto.glideapp.io. And actually there is the link. And I think we had this in the description of the video. If not, I'll maybe put it in the comments later on tonight. But we have this app, and a couple of people have been asking me, well, Brian, how do we get the information from your spreadsheet? And I've been giving them this, and then Ben, I asked tonight before he had to run off to the bathroom, if he would update this with any new charts, whether it be from myself or Paul, or even Ben's charts for that matter, if we could update them for anybody who wants to check out our little app here. That sort of summarizes what we talk about the charts. So welcome back to the Frivolity. A bit of a tumultuous time in the market, that's for sure. Of course, if anything, I hope you all have learned a very valuable lesson in that don't fight the Fed. It's been one of the very first lessons I ever learned down in this, 20, 30 years ago. I might even argue that it's not only the Fed, which is sort of the U.S. central bank, but it's also the Bank of Canada, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, and any other central bank you can throw in there. They all seem to be working in cahoots together here. And the good old Canadians, man, the Canadians are coming on hard here. I got to sneeze, hold on. Sorry about that. Canadians coming on hard here, and I've always often said that actually, if you want to know what the bank, the Rothschilds are doing, follow the Bank of Canada, because Canada sold its soul out to these central bankers literally day one. They have like owned this country since basically its inception, and you can really see them at work. In fact, a fantastic analogy of that was I just opened up a U.S. Futures trading brokerage house, and I transferred down about 50 or so down into the account. just for trading purposes. We do a lot of futures trading on the site. And the bank literally, they called me up almost acting as if the 50,000 was their money. And I actually had to have permission to take my money out of their bank. And what was fascinating about it was they must ask me about 2 or 3 times whether this was anything to do with crypto, which I found fascinating. So clearly, number one, the banksters, they're hell bent on breaking anybody who's not part of this banking cartel. So look out, third world, you could be in really big trouble here. And we could also see things like China could be in really big trouble. Joey Diamond went over to Hong Kong recently and openly flouted that JP Morgan would be around a lot longer than any CCP government, which of course pissed the Chinese off to no end. But I get the impression that this banking cartel is 2022, 2023. They knew that the Benner cycle, Jupiter Saturn cross, they knew that the interest rate picture was going to change in earnest. Brian's fear greed cycle, I'm sure they probably listened to a couple of my rants. So they knew that the U.S. was the economy in the U.S. was ramping up, while things like Europe and Asia actually are extremely vulnerable right now. And I think that the powers that be, it was interesting. One of our site members from years ago, I haven't actually talked to him in a while, but Shane, really into the whole astrological sort of side of things. And he was actually the one that first pointed out that this is something like 6 different celestial events all happening within this 4 or 5 year window, which is something that hasn't happened in the human history in like literally like a million years. So and it's interesting, their theme through all of this is quote unquote consolidation of power, which I find absolutely perfectly describes what's happening through this entire sickness cycle, war cycle, money cycle, you name it cycle. In fact, actually, I'm a little surprised we haven't had any droughts or frosts or blight or pestilence or locusts coming down the pike. Maybe that's to come next year. I don't know. But the point of the matter is the theme of this particular event in human history, I think, is all about consolidation of power by the Rothschilds and this banking 1% cartel sort of, Klaus von Loserhead over there in the World Economic Forum and all that kind of stuff. So I did find it really interesting that I almost had to ask permission to move money out of my account to some other brokerage house. And also, too, I'm very concerned about this country of Canada. I think basically Canada is bankrupt. And there could very easily, in the not too distant future, be a quote-unquote socialized losses in the Canadian banking system and in this absolute ridiculous bubble of a real estate market that we have, that these banksters have created here in this country. And it's just a ticking time bomb. And ironically enough, they've built out Canada, this particular country, as sort of a luxury destination for all that Chinese hot money. Well, if the Chinese market a bubble has burst and all of those people are locked in their prison cells and they haven't got 2 dimes to rub together because all of their investment in these phony baloney condos has gone belly up, well, what's that going to do to this luxury real estate market here in Canada? I think, frankly speaking, it's extremely vulnerable. So, interesting to see how it was almost like I had to have permission to actually take money out of the country, which sadly for a guy like me just accelerates my desire to get the hell out of here. And so that's big, I took a big step today, moving a big chunk of money out of Canada, and I think, frankly speaking, I'll probably be doing that for quite a while now going forward. If anything, I really do like the idea of Bitcoin down here, because I think to a certain degree a big part of the fluff of the market the fluff of the story, 60, 70,000 Bitcoin. Technical analysis doesn't matter. You're guaranteed to make money. That crap is gone now. And also too, the DeFi nonsense where these arrogant characters basically flaunted their ability to clone U.S. dollars and ride piggyback off of the security of the U.S. dollar in this world. A lot of that has been wiped out, and a lot of it is getting washed out. And literally day by day by day, you can see as one by one these quote unquote stable coins are getting taken apart. So there's your backdrop. It's a tough environment, folks. I'm not going to kid it. The interesting thing is if you can sort of float underneath the radar, if you're not really in a country that's sort of in the crosshairs of the world and the banksters, I think to a certain degree you can just trade your way quietly around all this nonsense. Unfortunately, I do believe Canada is a country that is definitely in the crosshairs. Canada, Australia, Russia are the primary world commodity countries, and each one of them is mired in their own respective disasters right now. And unfortunately, it's going to be bearish for all three of those countries like the next 15, 20 years. I heard one Canadian orator recently quoting some think tank, I can't remember exactly who it was, that said it's probably going to take 30 years. I mean, 30 years. I'm 50 years old, so basically by the time I'm 80, for the market to undo the damage that Mr. Castro has done here and his little Barbie finance minister who doesn't have a fucking finance bone in her body. And what's even more fascinating is recently she's basically come out and said that the banks have all the right to go into customer accounts and steal their money from them, and there's no legal repercussions whatsoever. What? I mean, have you ever heard of a potion to get your money the hell out of a country? That's it, folks. I mean, that's almost as bad as Winnie the Pooh. And the irony of it all, this is the irony, is the world looked at Mr. Castro a few years ago as the victim. Mr. Trump was being a dick. Oh, and poor little Trudeau, oh, we all think he's wonderful. I'll tell you what, Mr. Trump has not done half of the things that Mr. Trudeau has done here. That actually, if he had done half of these things that Mr. Trudeau's done, he would have been thrown in jail down in the States. So, wow, what a turn of events, this fucking world. Ay, caramba. So, anyway, as I said a few minutes ago, I find it interesting that the Canadians now are coming down hard on crypto. If you happen to have an account at Bitterx, I wanted to keep my account there, but, basically they've said, sorry, Brian, your country has told all Canadian citizens, get the fuck out of Trex. So, I don't know who to be angry at. Do you be angry at Trex, or do you be angry at the Canadians? I don't know. I tell you, the writing on the wall, this is getting dangerous here, folks. And if you are a Canadian, make darn sure. Remember, I found it fascinating that FDIC insurance here in Canada, they actually reduced it recently. Not increased it, reduced it. Why? Well, maybe they think they're about to go bankrupt. And they don't want to have to be on the hook to cover massive account balances that basically the banks are going to come in and steal from their customers. It's quite shocking, I'll tell you. So anyway, that was my day. Obviously, you can tell I'm slightly triggered by all of this. Hopefully, I can sit and talk nice and level-headedly with you about crypto, but I could tell you I'm slightly biased here this evening. Or triggered. I think triggered is the word, not biased. I don't like the banks anyway. That never changed. But I am slightly triggered here. All right, blah, 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 blah. I guess I had to get that off my chest. Sorry, everybody. Hey, Ben, did you make it back from the loo?
Yep.
Hey, right on. And I don't know if he was in the loo or not. I'm just playing. I don't know whether you were here for it, but I was telling the audience, I've had quite a few inquiries about your rule of 72. So if you happen to have an idea or two that meets the criteria and you want to show the good people here tonight, they'd really love it. I couldn't believe how much feedback I got about that. And actually, I got a couple people even say that smooth guy down from Florida, God, that guy's gold, man.
Smooth?
Smooth, yeah, you're smooth as silk, man.
Smooth? Smooth on top.
Well,
Yeah.
you got a nice smooth voice. It's sultry. You got that big $1 million smile, and you got the rule of 72. You're just a badass.
All right, there we go. Smooth. I'll take it.
Yeah, damn straight. Okay,
Okay.
so now that we've got the crew back in, Paul, did you take off for a smoke, or are you still here?
No, I'm still here.
All right, right on, cool. Let's go take a look at our spreadsheet, and of course, Brian's looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So let's see where we were last week. I was still kind of skeptical because I'll tell you, we had this really interesting event where July 20th, it's like the market took off then. And I'm wondering whether we have to wait for July 20th this year too. I wonder. But anyway, what number are we going to use here to represent this week? Is that what this is? Did somebody fill this in? 2,000 or 20,200?
Yeah, I popped that in.
All right.
Might have changed slightly, but I think it's maybe 2,300 now.
All right. Well, even better because
Yeah.
I basically voted an unchanged score, so that's pretty much unchanged, eh? I mean, that's not bad. We did have that little perk up last week that kind of broke my streak here, but I was feeling pretty good about my calls. I guess we got to get Sharky on the call here again. People loved that time when you popped in, Sharky. That was awesome. All right. I guess, Paul, you want to own up? I think you're buying dinner for everybody this week.
Yeah.
So
Next week, maybe.
all right. So he's gonna. I'm at +2 till death do us part. And
It's summertime, so
yeah,
might be
theoretically, I'm a little surprised that we haven't rallied. But again, I wonder whether the market's waiting for that July 20th. But I don't know.
probably.
And then Ben, you were thinking we were going to get a little bit uppy here, eh?
Yeah,
It's not.
but I think the CPI print really took it down this morning. Could have been a lot worse, but rallied
Yeah,
back.
that was through this mess. And actually,
Mm.
it was interesting. On the release, the whole market did dump.
Yeah.
Like if you actually look at the timing of that, it was quite remarkable. Because it was like literally this was the event, eh? Look at that, eh?
Yep.
So just an absolute mess. And you can imagine how many kids trying to outsmart the market just got destroyed through this event here. Ugh. Interesting enough, I wasn't trading Bitcoin today, but it was basically the same thing what I did in the futures markets, where I just basically I don't know whether I have it here. I think I was that playing the gold market today? I can't remember which one it was. Yeah. So same sort of thing. This was the news event. Look at that mess. And what's so bizarre about the market right now? It's almost like everything was just bid up, and you can kind of, if you think about the rubber band kind of effect, the rubber band got awfully stretched through this, where everybody was long into that event. And in this particular case, it was weird. Like the CPI, it printed like a 41-year high for inflation, and yet gold dumped right on the news event. That doesn't make any sense. Unless, of course, they were like manipulating this, running the stops, going after liquidity pools, so that they could ultimately, through the day, end up actually taking it higher. So go figure. I wonder whether they did the same thing with Bitcoin. And actually, I guess we were looking at Ethereum there earlier. I was a little surprised. There's the Ethereum. Again, huge event. And, I think the market got maybe a little bit too overbought just because it's, this is like, that's about an hour and a half kind of candle. And just up, 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 up. The rubber band just got too stretched. And it had to snap back. They went after all the liquidity. And then it rallied right back up top. I was a little bit leery, and I put out sort of messages earlier today. I still feel this way, that I really don't like the look of the TRI breadth indicator. It's very bothersome here. And unfortunately, what this looks like to me is this looks like a megaphone. So if that's the case, 1, 2, 3, be careful here, everybody. Watch for any signs of an M up here. If we accept back below this line, whoo boy, all hell could break loose here. So if we're lucky, we just keep surging higher here, and we just leave this whole megaphone. This technically is a diamond pattern, and the diamond pattern just simply says that there's the top end of the range, there's the bottom end of the range, and just wait for some sort of resolution through the top or bottom. So, if it wasn't contained within this megaphone pattern, I would actually say that that's a pretty good consolidation. And at the very least, we probably need to do a 200% range extension of the diamond's range, which, interestingly enough, takes us right up to ATR. And maybe we get like a nice big fat rally here tomorrow. That's doable. If we get any kind of M up here, any kind of failure at this megaphone top level, though, oh boy, don't fall in love with trades. Just be damn careful. Willie's not stupidly overbought yet, so that's good. We did have actually, and this is an interesting chart pattern into itself. I used to trade RSI a million years ago, and the way I would trade it is every time you put in a structural signal, it's a new message from the market. So you can see here, for example, we were working our way up. We put in an M here. So I usually color this teal as sort of the first breakdown, and that sort of stops the bull. Then the second M that you see come in here, this is actually your trade. And interestingly enough, if we look at when that actually happened, that second M, that was through here, and that was on that event right there, eh? And look at that trade. I mean, that was a killer trade. So if you think about it from that perspective, the third M that usually comes in, this is where the public usually gets involved. Because remember, public always comes late. So public is now going short down here on this breakdown, expecting the market just to fall apart. And ironically enough, RSI below 30, well, that's an oversold reading. Do you really want to short an oversold market? That's kind of asking for trouble. So you see, there is that purple dump. That's into sort of this mess. And sure enough, you can see shorting in here just led to heartache. In fact, you'd be underwater right now. On the flip side, right? So, whoops. On the flip side, first W, just like we had the first M came in here, stop the bear. First W, teal, that comes in here. Well, this stops the bear. And of course, all the public, they're all trapped now in this trade. And lo and behold, here comes a W to stop the bear. What a surprise. Then the second W, again, yellow. This actually should be our trade W. And what I often tell people is if this can go through the 50 line, this second W, they're going to be extremely powerful. So it is interesting that that second W came in on this diamond pattern here. And it was actually confirmed on this move up top in here. It's not really the best trade location for me. That's really sloppy. But, RSI studies set aside. They did issue a buy here. And I guess my hunch is, number one, if this goes and M's out here, well, then we know. New teal study, the bull has been put on pause. My inclination here, though, would be that we have one more W that's actually going to be purple, right? The final leg. And this should push us up into overbought. And if that's the case, of course, that's the public and that's a trap. So we'll see how this goes. It's encouraging to see that we did make this second W and we are pushing higher. So that's relieving. We just didn't get a big enough push to get Ben and Paul in the money on their trade ideas. I also said earlier that Willie is not stupidly overbought yet, so that's another reason why we could see one more push up top here. And notice MACD histogram has just made another new high as well. So that's not in divergence either. None of these indicators here are suggesting bear at all just yet. So I gotta think we're still gonna work our way higher here. The issue for me right now is I just don't like the look of the indicator, the breadth indicator on the site, and it every time I've seen this happen, it might be that yes, the market is a buy, but it's like, oh man, this just isn't the best time to pull the trigger. I mean, look at that S&P 500. That's actually just flashing a sell signal. But if we go over to the crypto breadth, see what Seward's going to tell us here. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and look at this. I mean, geez, the whole damn market looks so dangerous. The industrials, the transports, the utilities, all flashing bearish. The bonds have already broken down. It's interesting how the sectors have not. The bonds are breaking down, of course, because the commodities have broken out. S&P 500's broken. Interesting how Europe, Toronto, and Australia have not broken down yet, though. That's leaving me scratching my head a little bit. But here's our crypto. Interesting to see how quickly crypto is actually approaching oversold condition. And we have one gentleman who's been trading this crypto model and the breadth indicator, and man, the guy's just absolutely killing it. And all he does is see this. Anyway, the point being that all he does is he just trades the setups that he learns in our school and our teaching, and he just only takes the signals with the direction that the breadth is confirming. So right now, interestingly enough, with the breadth looking like that, the only signal that I could actually take right now is if a short setup came in. I got to wait for this to clean up, put in some sort of bottom, and then we can go. And then earlier what I said was, last year, for example, if I can just quickly show you. I should be able to do this. Last year, you notice kind of floundering through the month of July, right? And then July 20th comes along and woohoo! Away we go. The previous year, kind of floundering through the month of July. Where's July? There it is. You can see there's July. So kind of floundering. 20th of July, look at what happens. Buy signal, woohoo! I don't know whether it worked the previous year. I suppose July was kind of a meh kind of thing. But even interesting, you can see August, the beginning of August, there was a pretty substantial rally there. And that started July 28th was the bottom. So I don't know what the market's going to do here. I mean, does anybody? But I do like the idea, number one, that I think Bitcoin is actually undervalued. And I mean, look how far we've fallen. I mean, just forever here. Now let's do just like a brand new chart so we can actually see what the hell's going on. Oh god, this chart's got crap all over it too. Alright, it's got sideways crap. Let's get rid of that. Doink, doink, doink. Oh yeah, this was a comment about the quarter end. Honestly, between me, you, and the fence post, and of course, Big Brother doesn't want to hear me talking like this. But I think that the banks they're waging an all-out war against crypto right now, believe it or not. But what's fascinating is that they have never said boo about Bitcoin. And I actually think that Bitcoin, number one, I think it was a CIA pet project. Created by the Bushes because they knew what they did to the U.S. balance sheet with that silly war on terror. And they knew about the U.S. housing crisis. They were the ones that basically opened the gate for all the banks to come storming back into the mortgage business and blow up the U.S. economy. So tragic that not a single one of those banksters went to jail. And I think to a certain degree, Mr. Do Kwon actually scared the shit out of them. And I think now, like that rant I told you earlier, you can't even move money out of a Canadian bank without like literally getting their permission. Fuck you. Hey, this is my money. I am your client. You're not my client. I mean, wow, what a tragic end to this generation. What's happened here in this 22-23 tragic end. Anyway, point of the matter here is we've come down an awful long way. Could we get a nice little 50% balance here? Sure. I mean, actually, it would probably be a little bit overdue, just simply because you can only stretch a rubber band so far. I think where a 50% rule is, I just eyeballed this. I don't know. Let's do it off the high. There you go. 43,000. And what's fascinating is if you actually listen to the people who know what they're doing in this business, imagine that. There are actually people who know what the fuck they're doing in this business. But barchart.com, for example, I love working with this site. These guys have been around forever. In fact, actually, they even used to be part of the CRB group. If you guys, any old timers watching this, know what the hell the CRB is. Anyway, so the point I find fascinating here is if you actually dig through bar chart, these are the professional traders. I thought it was fascinating that the professional traders are actually putting articles out along, where are we here? Along these lines. Big, yeah, and this article, and this is a tell whether the article is actually worth reading, if it's to do with trading or to do with finance. Look who actually was the author of the article. The actual author of the article was a chartered financial analyst. He's actually got his CFA designation there. So this guy's got a head on his shoulders. He knows what he's talking about. And it's fascinating how these guys are all saying that, it sure looks to us like this Bitcoin's just about to rally here. So that's kind of good news, isn't it? What do you think, Ben? Is it good to see that the pros are actually getting interested in this?
Always like to hear that.
Yeah. So it's fascinating, of course, if you open up the newspaper or whatever and you read fucking like the rag articles written by fucking Dear Abby kind of journalists. They're just told what to say. And half of their rhetoric is, oh, crypto sucks, crypto sucks, crypto sucks. And I find it fascinating that, if I had just, when I was moved this money today, if I had actually said, oh, yeah, actually, this is for a crypto investment, I bet you those sons of bitches would actually have canceled the wire order, which is shocking, eh? Absolutely shocking. Anyway, so take it to heart. The professionals themselves are actually starting to get very interested in crypto here. And more importantly, Bitcoin. I get the impression, I don't know, maybe Ben, you can help me here. I think Paul's out having a smoke. But is people like, is Do Kwon kind of back in people's good books now? Would you know?
I wouldn't know what the word on the street is. I imagine there's still a lot of people that are
pretty
that are
upset
reeling
at the
from
guy.
yeah. I mean, I have heard stories about him having a comeback of some sort, and
maybe.
I think part of the people who are hurting is that maybe they have a desire for there to be some kind of a comeback as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Welcoming him back with open arms to some degree to try and get their money back is kind of
How about
part of that.
this is probably an easier one. I love asking you guys. Of course, it's hard for well, I don't know. Maybe just answer. Is Danny and Magic Internet Money, is he all popular in crypto again, or is that still on the back burner? Is he in the penalty box?
I mean, I just don't think he's anywhere near as popular as he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the point being that I don't think that the altcoin space and the shitcoin space and the alternatives to Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Litecoin for that matter, actually is pretty quiet in here, and I think relatively okay. I think those big names, they'll just keep bumping along and doing their thing. I guess the question at the end of the day is, how does DeFi sort of get back into people's sort of good books? Maybe it's going to take years for that to happen. And also, I also noticed too that the remember Nick, he used to I can't remember what was the term that he used for the guy who was in charge of FTX. What's that guy's name?
I don't want to miss. Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried.
That's his
It
name.
was something
Sam?
along the lines of lovable nerd. Or...
Yeah. It's interesting. He's kind of made of Teflon, though, eh? None of this shit is sticking to him. So it's fascinating. I did hear
Right.
another one of these stable coins came under attack today. Did you guys see that? I think it was
No.
Gemini coin. I don't know if you guys follow that. I gave up on these stable coins a while ago. Oh, and actually it was interesting.
Yeah.
We talked about this CTK last week. And I said, well, probably a good idea. Let's throw a stink bid in at the 78.6. There it is, boys and girls. So I don't know whether you got your fills. I actually asked Jordan. He's like, well, no, you still have to verify your Binance account, Brian. So they won't even let us do anything over there until we verify the account. From what I understand, Binance is still okay in the Canadian regulators' books. I have no idea. Well, fingers crossed. But I guess tomorrow I'll go look into validating that account. Maybe we can go and buy some of this there. Because look at that. Eh? That's exactly my kind of bread and butter. That's like our shark setup. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But it was, what the hell was the name of that? It was, who pointed out to me? It was a gentleman named Andrew in our day trader room. What was the name that I said it was? It was, oh damn, the name slipped my mind now. I can see the chart. Was it Horizons? What did I just say there?
What, Gemini?
Gemini, that's it.
Yeah.
Gemini. So I don't know. Gemini dollar, I guess that's it. Let's see what happened here. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's at 80 cents now. So, yeah,
Wow.
okay. So, interesting, Ben. So, is Danny part of Gemini?
No, I mean, someone did put someone fat-fingered a magical internet money, which is Danny's stablecoin on Gemini for over $3,000
Oh,
the other day.
I see. Do you think it's an
that was
unwinding
the chart
of
I
that?
sent through.
So, do you think
I don't know. I
whoever-
just thought it was an interesting anecdote, but I mean, it's still up there on Gemini, and they're supposedly one of the more trusted exchanges in the US. So that's,
right?
it's interesting
what
that the
you're talking
Gemini
about?
dollar did that.
What does this thing look like? Oh, so it's back to 1. Isn't that interesting? So it still says 3332, but then there's a 1 right here. Anyway, fascinating. So yeah, maybe these two are interconnected. Maybe that's what's going on there. So Andrew, if you're watching this and you want to chat tomorrow morning about in the day trader room about this, maybe look into if there's some sort of connection with that MIM name. Okay, so that's sort of my ramble. As I had sort of said earlier, I kind of like the idea of us just going sideways until that July 20th, and then once that comes, I could see a nice rally here. Paul, do you want to maybe take a few minutes and show our valued viewers what you're seeing in price action?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so I'm going to stop presenting, and then we'll put you over here. And there's Ben. See, look at him. He's such a handsome guy. Give him a big smile, Ben. Come on. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Oh, no. Paul went and saw the screen share. Anyway, So there's Ben. There's Brian. Actually, Brian just got a haircut. So actually, he's like, oh, you can't even see me. Look at that. Come on. Look at that thing. Get over there. Anyway. Well, you can't see me. I'm in behind. See, I'm over here. There I am. Hi. Anyway, I think that. Oh, actually, you're not even seeing that on YouTube, are you? Oh, that interesting. Oh, it's gone now. There it is. All right. Wow, that was kind of weird. Sorry, everyone. Paul, there's your screen. That's what. Oh no, now what have I done? There we are, Paul. I don't know how to get rid of these things. Maybe I got to go like that, and then I got to go like that. Then let's go full screen. Give Paul our undivided attention. So we'll go spotlight, and then let's go. I think it's F10 or F11. There we go. All right, sir, you got the floor. Tell these good people what it is you're seeing in price action here.
Yeah, just the range from a couple of weeks ago. I like the range. So you see, even now we just did the reload zone with the dump and with the news from yesterday. And now I'm back up in the middle of the range. I'm just playing that. Long in this area, short in this area. I'm long from this. I got a scalp on this area. I closed it already. Now I'm thinking to find a reason to take a short scalp. Indicators, they're already pointing up from the middle of the range. If I see the MACD, we already had two bullish divergence before the news. So approaching the reload zone really was stupid. WN already had some bullishness on RSI. On short term, I just stick with this range. I'm playing the range game. With my newsletter, like every week, weekly price chart, and the long reload zone. So I don't have on weekly chart. I don't have reasons to get a long, but it's close. Maybe we'll get a couple of weeks. We get a W or at least a 3-bar fractal to get a bounce. P cycle top and bottom, or my crystal globe. I put these two indicators together. Didn't have, when I made this newsletter, didn't have the signal to buy, but now we have. I'm gonna just put this one. Let's go on one day, maybe. So the indicators give us a signal yesterday on my time.
By
Exactly
MDFK. What does that mean, MDFK?
I don't want to say it.
Oh, that's a colorful expression.
Yeah, by mother.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know there was a D in there, but okay.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe
So,
in Romanian, is there a D in the word mother?
yeah, I just put it
Right.
more ironic. I made this indicator just for fun. I just put the pre-cycle bottom on top together.
So
So
when these
the
moving averages cross, that's a signal?
yeah, it's a buy signal. And if you look back in history, this is a signal on this 14 December 2018.
That's a buy?
Yeah, it's a buy. Is the bottom of the Bitcoin, exactly at the bottom. When this moving average goes down, it's a damn good time to start DCA or little old lady until they cross back up. So this is 5 months. If you go on,
And so the bullish cross is a sell?
no, the bearish cross is it's a buy.
Yeah.
And when they cross, you can stop DCA, at least for Bitcoin. If you accumulate your Bitcoin in this area, cross down and then stop when they cross back up, it's okay. You catch the most of the bottom of the price.
So
If
this
you,
indicator told you to sell up top there?
yeah, exactly at the top.
How's that?
This is the other indicator I put with this one is P cycle top. So in 2014 points out the top, plus minus 2 days. In
That's
2014
using those
again,
moving averages.
yeah, different moving averages. I have to go and
Oh, okay.
to select this. One second. I close the bottom, I activate the top.
Oh, I see.
So when they cross up, is the top of the market.
All right,
So-
well, that's different.
On 2018, exactly the same day, on the top of the market, we just put a bit of it low. And even in this top was 1 day or 2 days difference from the signal. So the signal come this on 13 April, and the top was on 14 April.
Hmm.
Yeah, but now he points out a buy signal. The P cycle bottom points out a bottom signal. We
Because
have
the
two
moving
crosses.
averages are moving or crossing bearishly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
go on to see more on a weekly chart. So this was December 2018, exactly the bottom of the price. And if you go back, we have another buy signal. 1 second, because this signal was exactly in the week where we bottomed the Bitcoin price. But if you go on daily chart, let's go on daily, you still had some where it's like my computer.
But you have to switch the settings around if you want to look at the buy signals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to buy signal, I have to do that.
And is this like somebody's indicator that you subscribe to, or did you build?
No,
this?
it's free on TradingView.
Oh.
It's free for everyone.
All right, so you're officially putting your neck in the noose and issuing a buy signal here, right?
No, exactly, because on this one, was exactly at the bottom, but the next signal we still had. From the signal, we still had some low. So this is bear with me because my computer is slow. So this day was the buy signal, the cross of the moving averages, and 2 days of another 40% down from the buy signal. But yeah, if you zoom out, yeah, it's a damn good way to start picking up some Bitcoin.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
So yeah, for me, keep in mind the history. Yeah, it's okay to start doing DCA or little lady or with this indicator. Points out pretty accurately the bottom of the Bitcoin price. So getting back on my newsletter, daily chart, same thing. We had maybe we can make a W when I made this one. I even said all-time highs from 2017 behaves as support. We can confirm a W, or if you lose 19K, you can go down below to 13K. But we are still above this level now. When I made this one, the week before, the price was on the short reload zone or on my range. So I said I want to get buy a long signal on the reload zone. So last week chart, we are in reload zone. This 2 weeks ago, this is the chart from 2 weeks ago. Last week, we are in the short reload zone, and I'm waiting for I get a short, and I'm waiting for the long reload zone. Now we are exactly at the same level. We made a low. If you go back to the chart, 1 second, because I have to close them. So we are right here. We made it in the reload zone where I put a long. Now we're back up exactly in the middle of the range. So now it's a no trade for me. I'm just waiting for the short or the long for a swing trade. On scalping, yeah, I do a lot of trading, but dominance exactly in the middle of the range is still in the middle of the range. Bitcoin chart was on weekly chart. So I use the Ethereum Bitcoin chart to see the power for altcoins versus Bitcoin, because Ethereum is a good indicator for altcoins. So we're still in the bottom of the range. Maybe we'll make a W this week and pointing up exactly how you said it. After 20 July, maybe we make a W and go back to the middle of the range at least, if not to the top of the range. Total to all altcoins without Bitcoin, 50 billion, 500 billion. It's acting like support. It's still in the same area, so for now it's just at the support, this support level. Yeah, it's a fat round number, so it's okay. Maybe we can get a W to go back up. You see, AB equals CD points out exactly in this area. I had the news for this week. I have the same condition on the scalping and trading on hard. If you don't know, you are not good at managing risk, don't trade. I see a lot of beginners, they try to trade in this environment, and they just get stopped out very often. They don't understand it's to play the range and just try to find long ideas in the reload zone and short ideas in the short reload zone.
Yeah.
They FOMO in this area and they get scared in this area. So if you don't know how to trade a range, don't trade. Just sit on the sidelines and wait for a daily W maybe. The altcoins, they are still in the reload zone now, so still the same window to pick up some altcoins, but maybe wait for a nice W on day. Just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't start my little old lady plan. Maybe at the end of this week I will start to looking at the altcoins to pick up some altcoins for still half on a double in the fall. But for now I didn't buy any altcoins for long term. I'm just waiting. There's not any hurry. Market will still be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to play the altcoin space. I prefer to see the W, the breakout from the W, and I will enter at the retest of the W. This is my way to pick up altcoins. I need another confirmation, so I need the W to be confirmed, then the retest, then I'll pick up some altcoin.
Yeah, like the breadth indicator. I might suggest that we just wait for that thing to start Wing out.
Yeah.
And something like this, I'd like to see some W's, please.
Yeah, this one this week is not a W. So
yeah, in fact, actually, you see at the very beginning of July there, You see how spiky the price action was the beginning of July. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's right now similar to what we're doing, and what we need is that calming down, and then the W
Yep.
forms, and then we actually have a half decent rally. So
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. And after 20 July, maybe this range will be broken up, broken to the
yeah,
upside.
like if you put, in fact, if you put like a vertical line on the 20th of July, and then
Yeah,
take the
we'll do
bar
that.
pattern, yeah, just do a vertical line straight up and down.
Let's find one.
And lower. Oh, you were so close. And lower. There you
Yeah.
go. Yay. On the 20th. There you go. Then take the bar pattern, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's the 7th box down over on the left side.
This one?
Now, the bar pattern tool. You know the bar pattern tool?
Yeah, the bar pattern.
Yeah,
This
that
one, I
one. You
guess.
see
Bar
bar. There it
pattern.
is. And then just copy that full bottoming pattern there.
This one?
No, not all the way back there. Just from the end of June, beginning of July.
Yeah, this one. No.
Yeah, just maybe do it a little bit to the left, right? And just copy that pattern there, and take it right to when it W's.
1 second, because seems like my computer is not working. Come on!
That's
I have to
okay.
do it again. I'll do it again.
There you go. Yep. Well, no, I would just even go to where it W's. You see where it W's?
This one?
Looks like it's on like the 5th of July. Yeah, somewhere in there. You see where the W is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That's fine. Yep. And then take that and plunk it right on where we are now, with the spike overlaying where the spike is. So you see our spike here today. Overlay it with the spike on that price action. Yeah, right there. And that's probably what,
right.
You could even drag that out a little bit. But my hunch is we make some sort of pattern that looks something
Something
along
like
those
that.
lines.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I have to put it.
Anyway, it's just my input. Obviously, you see the
Yeah.
market slightly different, so no biggie. Anyway.
Yeah, I could go on the short reload zone back in the.
Somebody thinks that what I just said there was poo. Thank you, Shaba. I appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe it's referring to my chart.
All right. And are there any altcoins in particular that have your attention right now?
No. Any altcoins? I don't have any altcoin to. The same like last week. I don't have anything.
Oh.
They are in the reload zone, but they are behind the Bitcoin price. So
yeah,
I don't have any. Maybe someone from the public wants to see something, but I don't have anything. I'm just focusing on this condition. I just focus in trading Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This is the best way for me. I just stick with the Bitcoin chart. I do a lot of scalping. If you see, I had longs with my indicator. I just pick up a long. I put 3 to 1. I go to sleep. I wake up. I see my take profit is exactly at the limit. Hit. Now I'm waiting because I'm middle of the range. I will not take another shot. I will just wait for the price to pick up some direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I do it in the classic way, I see I have this tool. I just move my stop behind the tick line and just trail the. But if I go to sleep, I'll just put 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, depending on what I see on the chart, and I'll just live with the results. 3 to 1, it's damn good for a scalp, for a trade.
Sure, but that's enough to buy those Romanian cigarettes.
Yeah.
Not the Australian ones though.
No.
Those things are damn expensive.
Yeah, 10 times more, so 10x from. from Romanian prices.
Yeah. All right. Ben, is there anything you wanted to add to the conversation here tonight from your perspective? Is Ben here?
Yeah, nothing. Thought that was awesome, Paul. Yeah, thanks so much. And that pi cycle top indicator, I hadn't seen it before with both of them coming together. That's great.
Yeah, it's just a simple way to put both
Yeah,
together.
yeah. I wish it would tell you how long you have to DCA for. That would make it perfect.
Yeah, I will DCA until the moving average will cross up again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, yeah, because I would love to know how you would like time out the amount that you DCA in. Yeah, just get started and then it crosses over again.
Yeah, keep in mind last times they had 5 months and 9 months. I'll just make in the half and I'll just say 6 months until this will cross back up. I'll start DCA. I'll make a plan
Okay.
weekly or monthly, but I prefer weekly.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. Cool.
I'm already in the market all the time, so I could pick up
So
every
6
week to
months
pick up
from
some
now?
Bitcoin.
What is it? It's the middle of July, so that's like the middle of January?
Yep,
Mm,
something like that.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I would personally be looking for the bottom to come in somewhere in January, February. So, anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for a DCA plan, it's okay from these prices. Even if we go down, it's okay to start DCA.
Yeah, because you're averaging your price down. If anything, you
Yep.
want lower prices over the next 6 months so that you can buy more each time.
Yep, yep. From a DCA perspective, we want to price to go lower.
Yeah.
And the fluff is gone, so it's a good price for Bitcoin to start DCA.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
I don't see any reasons not to start DCA in Bitcoin now. Maybe even Ethereum, but I don't know. I'll stick now with the Bitcoin. I'll make exactly a plan to start DCA on Bitcoin. Altcoin, maybe they have a bounce, but I don't know if the bottom is in the altcoin space.
I would imagine there's going to be a lot of tax loss selling in that space into the end of the year. In fact, I would expect a lot of tax loss selling in Bitcoin as well. So, I like your thinking over the next 6 months. I might even argue that, maybe even like start your dollar cost averaging now, because we are coming down into your pi cycle sort of signals. But maybe like scale the purchases up in size as we go further and further over time. So if it's like 7 months from now, 8 months from now, 9 months from now, 10 months from now, those purchases should be, I think, bigger than the purchases that you're doing today. And that way, you are active right now, so it keeps you sort of engaged. But I really don't think that we're anywhere near a bottom in this space.
From the profit made on day trading, I could DCA until the moving average from the P cycle cross back up. So, but I have to make a plan to know how to do it. If they don't cross up in January and they'll still be down, yeah, it's okay. I'll continue DCAing.
Yeah.
Until they cross back up.
Right. And, if anything, if we're really lucky, there should be a nice little rally here through the latter part of the summer. Be interesting to see if your signal will flash. Like, if we get a rally back to like 30, 40 Gs, which, believe it or not, I don't think is unrealistic. Does your signal get taken away? It'd be interesting.
I don't think so. If we go right now and next week, if we go back up, we'll cross. But I don't think so because the MR, they are moving average, they have a big difference from. So let's see if this one is. Yeah. So it's 30 350 and 111. So it's hard them to cross back up so easily. It's not easy to cross them back up.
Mm.
If the price goes back up now and continues up from from this moment, yeah, you can cross quickly back up. But if they keep the price below the moving averages at least 1 month, so below 30,000, 32,000, 1 month from now, it'll be hard to cross them back up in short term.
All right. Well, that's kind of. I mean, it's good food for thought. If anything, this is great content for our viewers. It's not something I'm really too hip with it, but thank you for sort of enlightening us here tonight. Appreciate it.
I don't know. Some people like the P cycle indicator. Some people they don't like the P cycle. I'm just I'm in the middle. I like it, but I don't want to put too much weight on that.
Yeah.
So you see, the price was on this in 2018. Price goes violently down. The moving average goes down. The price bounces, but the crosses come back up. After the price crosses both moving average above them.
Mm.
So on this move up, the crosses was a double in the price. So from 3,000 to, let's see exactly the sign, to 6,000. Yeah, exactly double the price to cross them back up. So 40,000 maybe will cross them back up this time.
All right. Any rule of 72 candidates for us to consider tonight, Ben?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I heard something. Your mic is off.
Yeah. So, I mean, I put it on everything these days, so I don't have any specific chart. But is there something about the concept that people were looking for me to kind of share a little bit more about, or do you want me to just go through an example? And
yeah, if you just happen to have any, I mean, like I was pleased that we had the feedback was, wow, that's rule 72 is cool. So if you happen to have another example that people can use as, hey, here's a nice little tutorial, and I'll sort of look for this going forward. I mean, it's a great contribution. And it's what do we say? $ value.
Yeah, cool. I'd be happy to share my screen and.
All right. Why don't, Paul, if you're done, I apologize. Did you get through to the end of your newsletter?
Yeah. I don't have too much news to
All right.
new from the last week.
All right, and you still reckon we're in hard mode?
Yeah, for the beginners, it's not okay to start trading now or even trade.
Okay. So maybe, Paul, you could stop screen sharing.
Yeah.
And we'll pop on over to Ben's world and see if there's something that maybe he can show us that might enlighten us here today. So Ben, did you want to screen share?
Cool.
There he is. Handsome guy, big smile. Big smile, big smile. There it is. There's the $1 million smile.
There it is. I don't know what. Here we go. Let's share this one. So I'll pull up let's pull up an example. I know a lot of people were
LTO.
kind of asking how would you use it when it goes beyond the 72.
Yeah.
So for anybody who has never heard of this, basically a little bit of a background. What the idea is that, let me pull up a better chart with a bit more history. There we go. Something like this one, yeah. Let me clear everything. Get it. You see everything on the screen okay?
Yeah, you're awesome.
Coming through like
But we
loud
get
and clear?
$150 with the new account. So sign me
All
up.
right.
I don't even know if that'll even buy dinner at a restaurant these days. I went to the grocery store and I spent $100 on nothing. I mean, literally nothing.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right. So basically, I was asking what is the minimum that a market has to go down in order to bang out a double at the 38.2.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we could do an example here. Just throw in a fib here. Fib retracement. So we're in log at the moment, so it looks a little funky. But for instance, at any point in time, the market can retrace to the 38.2. And something that I noticed quite a lot is that the distance between where the market put in the bottom and the 38.2 was around about 100%. So it seemed like it was a manufactured trade. So the distance between here and here, although not this example, it's a terrible example, but yeah, so from there to there would be 100% a lot of the time. So it got me thinking about what's the distance that the market needs to come down percentage-wise to hit that bottom in order to create that, and the number is constant and it's 72. And so I created a nice little Fibonacci retracement tool where basically you just go in and you pop the top in, and then you would put the bottom as 0, and then that gives you the 72% drawdown that's required, where if we were then to put a fib retracement down to that level, for instance, let's do that here, then theoretically from there to the 38.2 should be 100%. So that's that part. I hope that all makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Such a cool tool.
Yeah. And so I've been using it and playing around with it and kind of throwing it on charts, and let me give an example from the past market, where I think I drew this one up the other day. Someone was asking me.
Like, I'd be interested if you did that CTK that we are interested in right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll pull that one up in just a moment. Let me just I'll give an example from the last one, and then we'll jump onto that one.
Okay.
So this is one that was like pretty popular last time, right? The EOS.
Yeah.
So I'll pull that up on Binance here, and you see that from the top here, it came down 72.3589%, and it didn't bounce back up to the 38.2. It actually failed through there and kind of created that, then became a resistance level. And then something that I've been doing following an event like that is just redrawing the range as though that is the ceiling. So instead of taking the market high, I take that as the ceiling and do 72% again from that level. And quite often, yeah, you can see here, the market will have another go at trying to put a bottom in, which I kind of just see it as the institutions kind of having a crack at it, like, can we stop the market and Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
If you did a 38.2 off of that 178.72 back up to
Hmm.
the previous 72, then 38.2 is double the 178.
Yeah, so the range would be here,
Yeah.
and
So
then
356 is double 178.
there to there should be your 100%.
Yeah.
There's your double in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Um, so yeah, so obviously I find the bigger the asset, obviously the less levels it goes through. But it's something that's, especially with crypto, looking through the history, I've seen it go through three, four iterations of that before the bottom ultimately comes in. So it's not to say that this 72% is the bottom, but I find it's an area where, an institution would likely have a go at trying to at least manufacture a free trade,
Mm-hmm.
a free position at those levels. So, and it becomes quite important over time um, because of that.
Super cool.
Um, yeah, so that's kind of how to look at it if it goes through the level. So I know that some people were probably thinking about that, especially looking at a lot of cryptos now where it's
So
gone
if you
right
took
past
that
there.
double top high from June, July there, 2019, and you did your fib
Yeah.
from there back to zero, would that give you
Doing
72%?
doing the 72%
Yeah, like if you took
thing
that
one.
one down to zero. Yeah. I'm just curious. So there's your
Yeah, I mean,
72, so that's 241.
see, yeah,
And
there's a
then
bit
if
of
you did
action
a
there.
fib off of that level back up to the top, 38.2 is double.
Um, so a double from that level would be at the 38.2 of that range.
Yeah,
So, um,
476. Yeah, that's about right. That's roughly right. Yeah. Huh, interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a super cool tool that you can use over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I'm experimenting a little more with another number. I'm
But it's
finding that
interesting how you notice the bounce off of that level took us right back up
mhm,
into that 38.2. So,
right into it there.
yeah. And then
Um,
literally as soon as everybody got their double, the price just collapsed.
yep, came back down again.
And I remember, do you remember that rally in early 2020? That was when Orange Toupee was still driving the bus. And
Hmm.
and right before that, like literally 2 weeks before was that big January options expiry, and they bid the whole market up into that January options expiry and sold the public just like literally trillions of dollars worth of stock right at the top of the market. So fascinating how this thing also spits up its double trade. Everybody has a big win, cha-ching, and then they literally just drop the floor out of the market.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating. It's a
And
super
then it
cool
goes back
study.
down to that historic level there. So yeah, I'll pull up that. Was it CTK?
Yeah, I'd just be curious because it's pretty darn cheap right now. So the question
Okay.
would be if we ran the numbers, where would they tell us that we should be thinking and looking?
Is it this guy here?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cheap.
CTK. Okay.
Somebody even on the site was like, "Why are you so interested in this?" And I'm like, "Anytime I can buy at the bottom end of the range, I'm interested."
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, all right. So you'd have to see this thing come off quite a bit for this to be
yeah.
attractive. So even down here, it's even more attractive, I think.
Yeah, and that might not be 72 off of that level, but there is another level that it might fit. Okay, maybe not that. Um,
How about the 38.2 though bounce back up top? Was that rally that we saw there in April? Did that produce that double?
oh, easily. Actually in April here.
Well, I
Oh,
guess no. The
yeah,
July
actually, yeah.
low actually
Okay.
was an even better trade, wasn't it? Yeah, look at
This one
that
over here
trade.
for sure. Yeah, that probably went all the way up to
Yeah,
the
that's
reload short zone up there.
yeah. So if you did a fib from that range, where's 38.2 on that?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
I mean,
go.
there's 38.2 there, but it went all the way up to,
Yeah.
yeah, reload short zone there. But then this version here from there to there, I wonder if it got to the, see that's not, I guess if we did take
That's
this range
messy though,
here,
because that next high is even higher though, eh?
right? Yeah,
Mm.
so that was just shy of the 38.2 with that one. But yeah, what if we did one off of this high here?
To
Is
zero.
that's your new range to zero.
Ah, look
Okay.
at that. Isn't that interesting? So, and then 38.2 going back up off of that level then must be sitting at around $1.80 or so, eh?
Yep.
And I could see that. I mean, what I would easily expect is that this thing does a 50% retracement off of that range that Ben just drew. So, yeah, Collins,
Yeah.
we'll call this the dump chaser zone.
Yeah. hmm
But notice
And
it's like 169 all the way up to $2. So,
hmm
uh,
and something uh, yeah, so you're thinking that it would be kind of looking at more of a again.
somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it hits 38.2, even at these levels here, that's a double. So take your money and run.
hmm
You're a happy camper, free coins. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, super cool.
Yeah. And
While we've got him here, any of you over on YouTube want Ben to throw up your symbol that you like, and we'll have him work his magic for you? It's up to you. You got him here, so. You were about to say something, sir? Sorry, I cut you off there.
yeah, I was gonna say just on that that 38 two and the 50% rule, the GAN 50% rule, that kind of ties into the second number that I'm kind of looking at where it's 86.18%. And what's interesting about this level is that I found that a lot of the times when this failed, it actually bottomed around here, which is again exactly 100% off of there.
Huh.
But something
What's
that happened,
so special about 86.18?
right? So I think it's in relationship to this level here, in that it seems to be another level where people have a shot at where they can, that becomes resistance, right? The 72%. So if they can put the bottom in here and then get out a free trade, and then
That's
whatever the
almost like
market does.
maybe a head and shoulders, where your 72 is like the new neckline.
hmm Right. And then the other interesting thing about this is that you go from, say, from here to here, right? Your target is the 38.2 retracement. So there's your 38.2 level, and when you bring your GAN when you bring your GAN 50% rule down to this level, it actually starts to line up with that 38.2 target.
Hmm. Well, that's
So
interesting.
you kind of get this, I don't know, I kind of see it as like a confluence of expectation from, people who have taken a shot here and then people who are taking a shot here, starts to put this level, makes that quite important as like a
So if that
um,
is a head and shoulders, then the way that you measure the destination of the head and shoulders is the top of the head, back to the neckline, and then project a 200% extension, whatever that range is. So if this thing pukes out down to 45 cents, then rallies back to 72.3 or basically 90 cents, it produces a double for the smart money people.
Right.
Down, boom, rallies back. They get their free trade. Then it goes sideways
get
like
up
that.
there.
And then you could measure, right, if you just drew a horizontal line off of that neckline, that's 72. Just a horizontal line right off of that. And
horizontal line, yeah.
Yeah, that's your neckline. And then,
that's 200%.
Yeah, just basically replicate that, and then that's your upside objective of the inverted head and shoulders.
It's all the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating how these numbers continually line up like this. Super cool. And also, too, you can make the argument that horizontal support and resistance, right? That huge wick up there, it wants to be eaten. And, there's a bunch of guys that are... Where are they sleeping? Where do you think they're sleeping, Ben? The guys that actually bought that wick there. Yeah.
Oh, this one, yeah.
No. Wow, those guys, they're dead. Yeah. But the guys that bought there, where are they sleeping right now?
On the couch of the doghouse.
Yeah. So, they're going to want release, right? So if the inverted head and shoulders plays out, why would the market stall up against those wick peaks? Well, it stalls there because those guys that did buy there go, whew, finally I can get the hell out of here. So.
Right.
Wow, super cool tutorial. There you go, YouTuber. I bet you didn't expect that. Holy, nice tutorial. From both of you guys. And you're making my job a lot easier. This is great. So. Thank you, gentlemen. And if anything, maybe if you could take a screenshot of that, and we'll throw that in the lounge, and maybe kick it around. I'll add it to my journal. So,
cool.
Yeah, if you could take a screenshot of that, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, throw that in the lounge. That'd be cool. All right, Sjord says here, Celsius. You guys familiar with that Celsius story?
Yeah.
So they filed for bankruptcy now.
Right.
So
Okay.
if we're still in this in the filing for bankruptcy phase, this is, and keep in mind, right? People that bought this stuff, they are going to book a capital loss into the end of the year, but that means that they actually have to try and sell something. They actually have to book the loss. So I don't know how they're going to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of sort of sell at zero or whatever you can get kind of orders for this stuff into the end of the year. So what scares me is that this, and I don't know whether you noticed from the barchart.com people when I had that chart up on the screen, or that website, they're saying that there's more Chinese property real estate bubble bankruptcies coming down the pike here. So Chinese property debt crisis deepens. So it says here, debt crisis is deepening. More companies under scrutiny as debt prices continue to fall. Blah, 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 blah. So, of course, I'll read more about that later on. But the point I would just make is, didn't Tether, half of the reason why they said that they were doing so well, didn't they put a lot of the money that they had into, like, commercial paper and commercial debt instruments to try and sort of juice the yields a little bit?
Right, yeah, and that was something that came to light after they were forced to kind of show what was backing.
Yeah, so you wonder if they're caught up and if any of these other stables are caught up in that Chinese bubble bursting there. It wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, I don't know if they're even related or not, but I think there is some relation to all this. But so these guys are basically they're in trouble too, eh?
Yeah, so they're based out of New York, I'm pretty sure.
Based out of what?
New York.
New York. Oh, these are Americans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I find it fascinating that that bank was so concerned about whether I was going and investing in crypto. I couldn't believe that. That baffles me. So clearly somebody up top has said, look, we're taking all this shit to zero, so you better warn your clients that don't go and buy this crypto stuff right now. It's not. I'll tell you, like I've been in this space since 2000, late 2013, early 2014, and I have not seen the regulators as motivated to clamp this this stuff down than I have seen now. And the irony of it all is it does nothing to do with Bitcoin. That's what I find fascinating about all this. Nothing to do with Bitcoin at all. So I think Bitcoin, ironically enough, comes out the other side totally scot-free. Thought it was interesting. I did on, I don't know where it was on YouTube somewhere. I heard some guy say, and I don't know where I can find it. Then I have seen. But I heard some guy say that the irony of it all, if you found out who actually was behind the creation of Bitcoin, you would sell your Bitcoins in a minute, and Bitcoin would go to zero almost instantly. So that's a fascinating statement, eh?
Yeah, Dan Pena is that one.
You know who I'm talking about? That guy?
Yeah, Dan Pena. He says the Bitcoin was created by Putin.
By who?
Putin.
Putin.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's his theory. Yeah.
Putin of all people. I don't know. No offense, but I don't think Mr. Putin's smart enough. But anyway, that's here and there.
Yeah, Dan Pena said that a couple of years ago.
So
it will go to zero. Yeah.
Is that an old story?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, good. If anything, good that it's an old story. Maybe I was, like I'm just constantly watching all these silly YouTube videos and listening to all these talking heads and stuff. So
it's just a cranky old man.
Okay. Well, are you making fun of me? Is that what?
No, I mean Dan Pena, not you.
All right. Well, it's 7:35, so we got maybe about 20-25 minutes. Is there any coins in particular? Any of you guys over? There's only about a dozen people watching, so it's not really that active of a night. And considering the way crypto, the tone of the market is now, I guess it doesn't surprise me. One thing I'm super impressed with is Josh's application of the breadth indicator and his trading on TRI. Man, that's impressive stuff. So I notice you have your scalping script going. Sure would love for you to get that going with Sjord, Paul. But I'll tell you, man, I'm feeling like I just want to give Josh a big whack of money. I don't know whether you guys saw this watching over on YouTube, but I'm going to give a shameless plug. I'm going to steal the screen back here, Ben, if you don't mind. Let's see, where do we go? There's Paul. So actually I have to get out of the maximum screen. Alright, and we'll put that back over there, and then we'll go, where do we want to go? We want to go, here's this Chinese reference that I was talking about. China's property debt crisis deepens. And my hunch is this could actually be their undoing. Could be Winnie the Pooh's undoing too. But what I wanted to show you was I'm just so impressed. I gave sort of the challenge, and I've given people this challenge for years now, but we haven't really had the breadth indicator at the point where it was actually like usable in an algorithmic fashion. Of course, we got the great music, good old Benny Hill. But check this tweet out, and if anything, bookmark it, save it. It's so cool watching Josh's trading with the algorithm in the background sort of saying, well, you should be thinking about being long, you're thinking about being short. And I gotta say, man, I mean, these like that percentage performance, that's insane. And the thing is, he's not even really doing that many trades. Maybe like one trade a week or one trade every 2 weeks. So proud of Josh. Fantastic work. Fantastic. And of course, I don't mind this. I'm gonna get rich using this guy's tools and his approach. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. So anyway, So, if you do have something you want us to look at, we've got, I guess, about 20 minutes here to look at things. Is there anything in particular, either Paul or Ben, that maybe you might want me to take a quick boo at here?
There's a request on YouTube by
Okay.
Lewis for Sol, SOL, Solana.
All right, that's our buddy Sam, right? And Sam actually, didn't
Yeah.
he come out? I seem to remember he came out a week or two ago with a sort of a really bold tweet saying, "The bottom is almost in." I don't know whether you remember seeing that or not. I wonder if it would be like Sam. What's his name? Sam Weinstein or something like that?
It's Bankman Fried. Or
Bankman?
Bankman. Yeah, Bankman Fried.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bankman. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bankman. I wonder which one. Sam Bankman, like that one? Fried? Fan account. Anyway, I saw the other day that I don't know whether it was him or one of his. Is that his hair? Yeah, he's got groovy hair. He had like a Twitter image, and it was just like, the bottom is almost here. So anyway, I guess that's what he was when he was lean and hungry and building out FTX, right? Now he's become successful, so now he's a little bit more portly, like Brian. I had my fucking hairdresser today go, "Oh, Brian, you put on a bit of weight." I couldn't believe it. Like, you want a tip today or what? Anyway, yeah, and I have, no doubt about it. I have become fat and lazy. So, all right. So you want us to take a look at the Sol? SOL? Actually, you know what would be interesting is to see if we. Wonder how we could do that. Where is it? Is it on Binance? I would imagine it's on Binance, eh? Is that where you want me to look at it, on Binance? Actually, isn't it? I guess, would he be on FTX? Maybe. Okay, anyway, I wouldn't mind seeing what the system and Sjord's baby says for us. I want to just see whether... God, look how many symbols he's following. It's just a bazillion symbols. What does that say? 1,335 issues. So this will take me a moment to get to the S's. We're at C, D... Come on, E, F... Actually, I just think I just saw FTX go by. But anyway, we're looking for Sol, aren't we? K, L, M... oh, excuse me. All right, here we are. Sol, there we are. Sol B, USD. I think that's it. Sol BNB, Sol ETH, Sol BIDR. No idea what the hell that is. Sol TRY. I think that's like Turkish lira. So which one do you think we should look at? So many to choose from, eh?
USDT is the
USDT. There we go.
yeah.
All right, this is versus Tether. Well, it's not bad looking. So we've got a bit of a divergence here in the indicators. All the indicators themselves are trying to point up. Actually, I guess the fast just slipped down a little bit there. You know, I'd like to see that we actually W'd out here. Nice reversal today. So they were really pressing down against these lows. Nice big fat reversal. I'd probably say, right, get a trade up through that, what's that high? 39.72. So buy on a stop 39.73. It's not a terrible idea. Also, too, notice that there's this original double bottom working, and that high there's 36 even. So you could actually go in and buy this now and just say, well, you know, all I'm doing is I'm just buying this original W over here. There's nothing wrong with that, and then just risk this. And that's a pretty good looking. That's a pretty wide based W. Counter trend rallies. This thing's probably got some room to move up. 200 SMA sitting at 86. It'd be interesting to do Ben's rule of 72, say, off of this high here. 142, so 72% of that would be roughly 70. Oh, goodness. 10, 14, so 28. 71 minus 28, so about $48, somewhere in that neighborhood. I guess that would be right around here. And 48 times 2 would be, 80, 95 or so. And notice there's the 200 SMA sitting right at that level. So I guess, I don't know, I just ballparked that in my head. Let's see how close I was. SOLUSDT. Boosh. Now, do you go off of this high? Well, that's interesting. I wonder which high you're supposed to use. It's interesting, too, how we were conjecturing that was this actually going to W out? And no, it didn't. No, it actually, that W there, and then we started to climb up. Could you have gotten a double off on this? I don't think so, but maybe. 80 all the way up to 140, so not quite. Yeah, a bit of a head fake. So let's see, just argument's sake, let's see, just application, let's see if I can do Ben's study here. So we want to take this guy and go against 0. So where the hell's that? I guess coordinates. So 0. And you want this as 30. I'll just do the rough numbers. I don't have to be exact here. So we'll just go 72. Boosh. Let's go the other way. Boosh. So there you go. So if I understand this correctly, if we go back now up to here, 38.2, a bounce should be double that price. Let's see if I've done this right. 143.72. That's pretty darn close. So interesting how 72.42 was the low there. 70. This low was 75.35. This low was 77.65. So couldn't quite get there. Interesting how we did rally up to that high of 143.51. Or basically, you know, if I did the actual fib here, and good old Ray Burchett, 145.41, and the high there, like we said, 259.90, produces that 38.2, 145.85. So fascinating how we got up to 143.51. Really good analogy of why I like to use that first array 38.2 and why I call it the first stop. Because this might have been, you know, I mean, technically that was a W. It's pretty big, but it is there. If anything, this almost kind of looks like what the Bitcoin is doing right now. Maybe we get this rally over that July, August, and then, uh-oh, look out when the kids get back to school. But really good analogy of why I like to use 38.2, because sometimes, like this, that's all you get. You get the bounce to 38.2, and we couldn't even get to 38.2, and then resumption of the bear. Ugh. So a really good example of why I like to use that 38.2 and why I call it the first stop. Because sometimes the first stop is the only stop. And then we just resume the move down. So with that in mind, dead cat bounce into resistance. Didn't quite give us Ben's numbers. Pretty close. If we do the same logic, I suppose that number still persists. So we're there now. Now the question is, what was the next fib? It was 86, was it? 86? I want to say 86.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
well, we'll go with 86. So interesting how that's 36. 36 times 2 is 72. So interesting how we dump down into that 88.6. And notice how the market is really fighting at that level. You know, one thing I might do, which would be kind of fun, is why don't we put on some fogging bombs and see if you get any foggy buggies that line up here. So chaos theory, there's 4669. There's 877 all the way down there at Sam, you owe us money. I doubt that's going to be the case. We might even go off of this bigger one too. Interesting. There's 2.618 right at 78.2 or 72. Beg your pardon. Might even want to look at this on a log scale, but you do that and all hell breaks loose. So yeah, we'll get rid of that. Interesting. I would have thought there would have been some foggy boggies that lined up here nicely, but I'm not really seeing anything too compelling down here. I mean, we did have that 2.618 into that level. That was interesting. Maybe we could do one off of here. But again, still these 4669s are taking us down into negative numbers. And this is sort of the big problem that I have with using chaos theory on bear markets is, you know, how do you gauge this? You know, we can go logarithmic, and then you just have to set these studies to fibs based on log scale. Now notice, hey, that changed quite a bit. So, you know, Ben still has his 0 there, so that's still a reference. But maybe we get a little bit of help with the 4669. Yeah, notice that's interesting. So I don't know whether we change this as well, though. Let's see what happens if we change that. Yeah, so that didn't work. Well, anyway, I'm still sort of humming and hawing, trying to figure out how this chaos theory works. But I guess what I might even say now is we probably want to do like chaos theory off of this stuff. You know, like right in here, right over there. 4669. So interesting how that it's 2.618 lines up with that 72. And this 4669 lines up with that 866. I'd also probably want to do like extension levels. So level 1ers, not only do we do retracements, but we also do extensions. So that gives us something like that. Now that's an interesting level. Look at that 127.2. So that's interesting. Yeah, I sure like that 127. Let's see. Maybe if we change this to fibs off a log scale, let's see what we get there. Interesting, because what I would call this, I would say that this is your A to B, there to there. That's one leg, and then the second leg is C to D, which takes us down into here. So on a regular mass scale, then that would be, oh yeah, so this is logarithmic. So on a regular mass scale, there it is. You can see how big it is. A to B. But the question I would have is, does this take us down into negative numbers? So it's fascinating to try and use fibs on the downside. See if they actually work or not. I suppose we could try and change this to, oh yeah, so that is based on log scale. Can't take that off now. So. We can go back to log. Then we got these funny ones over here. Alright, that actually cleans that up quite a bit. So let's see what we got here now. That's interesting how that paints that 877 there. Actually nailed the bottom pretty well. 4669 basically nailed this chaotic level. So I think, believe it or not, there's your study. So go figure. Now, if we could W out, notice we got a little W working here, right? So technically we can do foggy buggies going up now. So boom, there you go. There's some levels. And then I might even say, what's a fib of this whole range? And as Ben was kind of pointing out earlier, what I've noticed often happens, especially when I'm trading futures, is you'll get an A to B move, boom, boom, right? A, B, then C, D, so we finish the move, and this should be, very symmetrical. And then what ends up happening is if you draw your fib from this lowest low of this move back to the 50% rule, what do you think the odds are? The 50% rule is just sitting like right in that level there. I'd say probably pretty good. So, boom. Well, a little bit higher. Right against that downtrend line. Isn't that interesting? So, 2.618, I think that's a realistic near-term objective. That's 56. So, interesting at 34 to 56. Probably want to see this come down, maybe eat this tail. Because that number is 56 and this W is working, as long as this W holds in, and you've heard me say before, I love candle body lows for trade location. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is some sort of harmonic. So boom, 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 and then a nice deep test. 88.6 would be sort of like right in that area there. And that would be interesting, right? Because that produces 27. And we said that the 2.618, which also 2, hopefully you see corresponds with that high right there. So this is probably a realistic target zone. And then remember what we were saying with Ben earlier. This is probably a big honking inverted head and shoulders. So we go down, up, head, up, shoulder, up. Right? And so there's your shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, away we go. And within the context of this huge inverted head and shoulders, there's an interesting harmonic pattern that's trying to basically solidify our head. Now, if this doesn't hold, and really I might argue that you probably want to see things like bullish momentum divergences on these pullbacks kind of idea. The 88.6 is all the way down here, so it's got a bit of wiggle room to work with. You can come right down into this tail. But you probably heard me say before, I love when you get candle body highs and lows for trade location. So notice, look at those candle body lows in there. Right into that sort of 78.6, 88.6. This huge tail needs to be traded into, eaten. Right, all the guys that shorted down here, they need to get off the couch, that kind of thing. So if somebody was asking me, well, Brian, what do you see sort of happening here? I'd have to say, I think I see something along these lines. So what that means is in the near term, and also too, you can kind of see it here. This should go AB, and then clone, CD. So, oh, look at that. You think that's an accident? I don't. So there you go. If anything, whoever asked this, we'll give you this chart, and I'm just going to simply say, I think you're going to come down here and you're going to pivot back to the upside, and looking to make some sort of move into here, like so. Probably something like that. And then the $64,000 question down the road is, does this low hold? If this low holds through here, then I think you got something to work with. And you might actually, I get the impression Sam himself he's almost like, he's like a Teflon Don kind of thing. But I get the feeling that he's going to do fine through all of this. It was the arrogant, egotistical crypto kids that needed to get knocked down a peg, and I don't get the impression from that Sam guy he's too egotistical. So as a result, I don't think they really have a beef with him. So anyway, so that's kind of what I see happening here on SOL. I don't know whether that really helps. Yeah, so that's interesting because quite often, I mean, just out of curiosity, Shamu, what do you think is the absolute most important thing for a guy like me when I start to think about risking my money in the marketplace? I'd be curious to see if you even have an idea. Of course, everybody on the site knows, hopefully knows. Do you two know? What's the most important thing that I want to think of right off the bat if I'm thinking about buying something? What's the most important thing I want to see?
Does it start with an L?
What was that? Sorry?
Does it start with an L?
Yes, it does. In fact, and if you were, if you happen to have a stutter while you were saying it, well, you're going to score some more points with me. I don't know, Shamu, if you're in the real estate business, but in the real estate business, there's 3 words in real estate, and it's just that simple. Everything else is irrelevant. Location, location, location. So, yes, there's an M here, but the question is, where is this M coming in? If we're thinking location, do I want to, and keep in mind this is a log scale, so if we sort of look at that regular scale, do I want to be really aggressive on the short side, coming in and shorting stuff there? Short answer, no. Right? If anything, that's half the reason why I built the whole reload zone concept. Is, remember, institutions buy down markets. The public buys up markets. Public always loses at this game. So you have a down market like this. Do I really want to be aggressively shorting a name like that there? No. Absolutely not. So, and ironically enough, using our 38.2 fib study, I don't see any reason why our objective can't be right, if I just use this low, for example, right in there. And in fact, we have a site member, Colin, who's part of, I think, the Hero Exchange now. He calls this his dump chaser zone. This 50% rules wrong though. So right there to there. Where if you think that this is a bear and you want to join the bear party, what you really want to do is wait for that 38.2. And then if you get an M up in here, fucking A, hit that thing hard. Or in this particular case, this was really difficult. But in this particular case, you can see it didn't even get back to 38.2. So that in itself is actually a tell that this market is incredibly weak. We might not even get the 38.2 bounce. We might rally up into sort of this level here and then stall out, maybe against $100. That could easily happen. And so that would still imply that this is a bear. And notice that you would be able to get your double off if we did hit that 38.2, or even just rally to $100. You'd still get your nice free coins. It's just this isn't a bull market. And then, what's the most important thing we want to see in relation to this trend line if we actually think this is a bull market? I don't know whether, Shampoo, you know this answer, but again, it's sort of the stuff that we teach. What I would need to see, and if we sort of follow along this kind of thinking, I like this rally off of the bottom. Of course, all the late, or the noobs, if you will, to trading, they're going to come in wanting to short down here. And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know whether you guys remember or not, but, famously, Mike Novogratz, of course, I think he's in the penalty box because of his horrible behavior around Luna. But it was interesting to see that there were a lot of sort of, Bitcoin professionals, use my referral code, all that shit, that were uber, just over the top bearish here. And they're absolutely convinced that Bitcoin had to go to $1,000 here because there was this guy, and it's ironic because he went and died, so he wasn't even able to sort of back up his argument. but there was a guy who taught like hyperwave. His name was Tyler Jenks, and he was saying to everybody, well, Bitcoin has to go right back to $1,000. So it's interesting how there were some experts in the space who were basically like, Bitcoin has to go back to $1,000. And Mike Novogratz was like, nah, Bitcoin could go to 40 G's here, no problem. The point here is this is the same sort of thing. That, do you really want to get uber bearish down here? Well, that's who I was speaking about, but I didn't want to make reference specifically to his name. But do we really want to get uber bearish down here? I don't think that that's a good idea. You don't want to... again, my simple philosophy is I don't want to think short in green boxes. So I start drawing my green boxes between 61.8 and 78.6. I don't want to be shorting here because the statistical odds of this thing bottoming and then taking off and just ripping my face straight off is very high. And that's exactly what happened here. They just ripped everybody's face straight off of them. So, yes, there is an M here on your soul, but I do not like the idea of coming in on the short side down here. I think that's asking for trouble. And then the irony of all of this is, first and foremost, if we do actually get a rally off of these levels up into this level, I get my double. And we're nowhere near either validating that the bear trend is over, or, and as somebody pointed out over there on YouTube, I have a strict rule that I can't get bullish on an asset and say, yep, this is a new bull market, until we actually go and W out on the other side of this trend line. And no, seeing a move like this and then a pullback and then a breakout, that is not a W. That's not valid. You gotta see this. So as a result, this is a million miles away from actually even being quote unquote bullish. I think this is just simply, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Everything's been going down. They're trying to destroy DeFi as much and as hard as they possibly can. And then, like I said, the irony of all of this is that for harmonic traders, you actually want to see the M inside the W at the bottom end of the range. That actually makes a very, very powerful harmonic reversal. This is a bullish butterfly where you can see X to A to B to C to D, and you say, well, Brian, A to B to C to D, that's an M. Shouldn't I be bearish? And the answer is actually that point D there, that is a hugely potentially bullish level. And this thing might just take off like a rocket from that level. So you often see that, there's the butterfly. Again, this is a bullish chart pattern where point D is called a PRZ, and a potential reversal zone, and it's actually a trade location. And then here's the crab, same thing. There's your ABC, there's your M, but point D is actually a buy level. Now, if this happens right up at the top of a market, am I going to get uber bullish? No, because location-wise, that's a shorting zone. If this happens at the very bottom of a market and it's down below reload zones, am I going to get bullish? You better believe I'm going to get bullish. So, back to our story. What a surprise. And the interesting thing about this one is that the M itself is actually a harmonic itself. This is in fact, actually there's even a tool here, right? A, B, C, D. So you go A, B, C, D, and that's actually a symmetrical harmonic pattern, which in itself, this point D is a PRZ or potential reversal zone and is a buy level. So the interesting thing that we have actually two harmonics here that are both spitting up potential reversal zone or PRZs at this 88.6 level means to me, if we come down into here and then we put in any kind of little W down in here, oh boy, is that ever a big buy signal. All right, what do you think? Was that of any value? I don't know who asked me to look at that, but I hope you got some value out of that. What do you think, Ben? Is that of any value? Hope so.
Yeah.
All right.
That's great.
Somebody asked me, what's your take on CVX? A lot of volume has come in the last month. CVX. I don't know the name of this. I don't know what the fundamentals are. I mean, who asked that? That was Shamu. Shamu, do you see any letters of the alphabet that maybe that Beamish guy might be interested in? That was Louis Maya. Oh boy, there's a last name. Thanks, Paul, for helping me find my way here. YouTube is hiding this stream on your channel homepage. Oh, did I not? Oh, that's funny. I totally remember making this video public. Isn't that a kick in the pants? I totally remember setting it. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's set to unlisted. I totally remember setting that to public. So go. Oh, look at that. It did it again. Oh, how do you do that? No, it won't set it to public. Maybe because, oh, maybe I have to hit that button? Oh, there you go. So I forgot to hit a button. What a doofus. No, that's okay, dude. I mean, hey, you like coming back and listening to the Beamish rant? I mean, that's totally awesome that you keep coming back. I mean, all you new people to the channel, I don't know whether you get to see the text chat when you watch the video back later on, but our buddy Great Dalmoody is arrived. And what I often tell people is, if you can do it, you can sit and watch these free lectures and get all the information to learn how to trade that you possibly need. And I mean, look at the channel. I mean, there's thousands of hours of shit to listen to. But not all of us are that smart. Not all of us are that motivated. Not all of us are that structured. Not all of us are that organized. Not all of us are that focused. So we built the school specifically for people who are like, I can't be a Great Del Moody. The guy's just, I think, don't you have like 3 doctorates or something like that? I mean, the guy's insanely smart. So for the rest of us in the world, we built the school and it's highly structured. And Paul, what do you think? Do you reckon the school's some value?
Yeah, I learned everything from you on the TRI level 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool with Paul. He has a Discord channel, and I'm more than happy to promote his Discord channel. I want him to become famous. The only thing I ask of him is, if somebody asks him who taught you how to do this, he just throws.
I have a special channel for that.
There you go. So that's exactly music to my ears. So the point here is, he's only trying to finish his first masters. Oh, you're such a slacker, man. Jesus. Just kidding. Anyway, all right, so back to our point here. So whoever asked this question, who was it? It was Shamu. Is there a letter of the alphabet staring at you on the screen here that maybe you might want to pay attention to? How about if I go whoop, 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 and actually even a Romanian school teacher would like this W. Look at that. That's nice and crisp. Boom.
Yeah, I like the small one.
And then Paul saying that his school teacher would give him extra credit if he pointed out that W. So I know now it's getting messier than crap, but I mean, there it is. So, ironically enough, we often actually say this in the business. A good trade is a good trade is a good trade. And if you've found a good trade, if you show the good trade to any trader who is half decent, they're going to look at it from their perspective and they're going to go, oh yeah, well, I see this, I see that, I see that, I see that. So the fact that you're kind of like, wow, geez, a lot of volumes coming in, things look pretty interesting. The way that I approach trading is I like this idea of the 3-step process. So what did we say step number 1 was? Something about 3 words in real estate. And keep in mind, this is what kills me about Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. There's nothing to do here. There's no industry here. There's no amusement parks. There's a whole bunch of nature. So if you're really big into nature, great. But it rains like a son of a bitch here. I mean, in the wintertime, the sun goes down at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because we're pretty close to the North Pole here. Or 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, beg your pardon. In the summertime here, the sun rises at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I get woken up at like 4 o'clock. So I find that hilarious. I'm not quite sure why all these Asians have fallen in love with Vancouver. And ironically enough, the summer here, my little hairdresser today was telling me that she has a pretty big garden and a fruit farm and stuff, and basically everything's falling apart there because of the weather. We just had like a really, really nasty little cold snap there last week, and she said all her fruits just like shriveling up. So it's kind of ironic that, you know, people have bid up this Vancouver real estate market when this is the worst location in the world. I would almost prefer to live anywhere than Vancouver. So go figure. And there's nothing to do here. Like if you're a young teenager, 20-year-old, there's nothing to do. Hey, look at that. Wade says his wife's Asian and she hates living in Vancouver. Yeah, I would imagine if you're actually from a real big city, you come here and you're like, okay, what the hell do you do here? There's just nothing to do. Anyway, okay, so you guys got all, of course, Great Del Moody nailed it. Location. So, question I would ask, number 1 is, do we have half-decent trade location? Now, you tell me. Is this, I often tell people Brian by nature is a cheap ass. So, do you think Brian's going to be interested in a name that looks like this? Probably. Then the second thing I want to ask is, do we have indicators that are suggesting, if you're thinking about buying, then indicator confirmation, we want to be seeing bullish indicator signals. Things like bullish momentum divergences. So do we have any of that kind of action? Look at the size of this bullish divergence. Yeah, that's what she said. The higher lows and lower lows. Huge bullish divergence there. Then all the way down here, doesn't look like we have an RSI div. I built this indicator specifically to tell me when markets were either overbought or oversold. So, really good example of the market flashing an oversold reading. So, I've got confirmed bullish divergence. I've got Willy stupid. That's what I call it when the moving average of Willy indicator is in the oversold zone. Public is stupid, so the public would be calling me up as a broker saying, sell this position, it sucks. And I'd be saying, are you sure you really want to do that? Maybe you could get a better price if you're just a little bit patient. And then, interestingly enough, just in the short term, you can see we're getting a lot of little bottoming action. Look at that RSI W there. Of course, you've got this Williams percentage RW that starts there and it breaks out there. Suppose you could even make the argument the RSI bottom is there. MACD, this high here was 0.8. And we got as high as we did not break out through 8. So that's a little bit bothersome. It's good that these lows are lower than that low. Or lower than that high, beg your pardon. These highs are lower than this high. If this was a higher high in price than this high, but the MACD was making a lower high, that would not be a good sign. Now, the interesting thing about this is who can finish this statement? And Great Del Moody, you're not allowed to answer. Volume speaks what? And if you've never heard this before and you're watching this and you're kind of like, hey, I'd like to learn how to do this trading shit, like Great Del Moody did, write this stuff down. It's pure gold. Thank you, Wade. My apologies, Mr. Del Moody. Wade, also you're a veteran too, though, so maybe we should let some of the Shamu. Do you know the answer to that? Volume speaks what? And the answer, of course, is volumes. So, what letter of the alphabet do you see on the OBV indicator? Hopefully, and this is speaking directly to your volume reference there, Shamu. So you see down, up, down, breakout. And it did the breakout on big, fat volume. Hugely bullish sign. In fact, we often talk about volume impetus. And as long as I keep seeing bigger and bigger green bars, that means the buyers are continually stepping up and buying. They're bullish, rock and roll. As long as we keep seeing this happen, that is very, very bullish. Now you can kind of see this high is kind of waning a bit. If we start actually seeing 3 lower highs in the green bars, and then we start seeing really low volume in between on the green bars, it means the bull's probably fallen asleep. But as of, July 5th, bull's wide awake, very much in control. And then, add everything all together. Do we have location? Brian's a cheap ass. Sure looks like this thing's cheap. I don't know whether this is an ABCD or... No, it'd be kind of interesting if it was. Yeah, it's a little bit off. I don't know whether I would do this off a log scale. It might be a little easier to see. Alright, so off a log scale, actually this looks even more personified. So there to there, and there to there. This actually looks like an alt ABCD. I'm not going to get into the nuances about alts, but long and short of it here is, we're cheap. I love cheap. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Shamu, you're in the education program, right on, dude. Awesome. All right, so this is speaking very, very loudly to me. People are very bullish. Is there any fundamental drivers? Is there a story behind this? What is going on here? My hunch is with that kind of volume, 5.4 million coins, my hunch is there's some sort of story going on. And as long as that story's playing out, look into it. Is there some sort of catalyst, some sort of product launch, being listed on an exchange? Sam's involved in it somehow. I mean, let's hope to God Mr. Do Kwon isn't involved. Maybe Danny's involved. There's some sort of, social influencer. Maybe the German guy is all over this thing. Da Vinci. Some sort of influencer in the space that's pushing this story. I mean, I can't speak to that. But technically speaking, you got yourself a cheap name, which of course I like. Brian's a cheap ass. So I'm always interested in cheap names. You've got a bullish momentum divergence that's confirmed here on the MACD. Would have been nice to see that blast through the top, but beggars can't be choosers. Ooh, here's another cool concept for you to mull over. This is Sjord Loves putting Bollinger Bands on RSI study. And notice that the band started to contract right through here. they also contracted through here as well. So we never did get the breakout here, though. We went to new lows, so there wasn't anything that really developed out of that. But this one, notice on the contraction, W breakout. And now, on the breakout, look at how the bands just totally expanded. So something significant has shifted here, and if you're lucky, you're catching basically the beginning of a new move. The only caveat to all of this is you don't really want to pay too much, don't chase, all that kind of talk. So how are you going to approach this? From a clothesline basis, this would be the most conservative way to go. There's your buy signal right there. And interesting how they tried to bring it back down into that level. There were so many buy orders down in here, ding, 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 that they just ran out of sellers and the damn thing shifted back up. So that's probably your sort of institutional level. And I wouldn't even be surprised if down the road you actually find that this level sets up nicely with reload zones down the road. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. Having said that, is that the best price to pay for this asset right now? I don't really think so. If anything, and this is the no-brainer approach. I suppose you could go off of the wicks. That's kind of lazy man approach. You could work orders. You could sprinkle a number of orders in here. Maybe one at the wick, which is 558. One at the candle body level, which is 501. And notice that's the double bottom breakout of this little range in here. And then you could also sprinkle in an order just right off of this range alone. Right? And the trend line of this particular range is right along there. And so you're just going to work a stink bid right along this trend line, maybe down right in the reload zone, right down in there. Nothing wrong with that. It's an interesting idea. I think you're on a good track here. Then, as for upside objectives, let's say you did get in on this. First thing I always tell all of my brand new students, and it's the first technical analysis rule I ever learned, what's a 50% rule? So there's the 50% rule sitting at $21. Probably also, too, we could line up, call in pump chaser or dump chaser zone in this case. So we're probably thinking something like 38.2s, which is a kiss of the underside of these original levels. And there's your 50% level. Also, too, if we start spiking higher, we're probably going to run into some resistance on that level and that level. Can you guys see the guys sleeping on the couch? These guys, they went and took the family vacation money. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to do a quick trade. Make a couple bucks. Hey, the wife and kids will never know. He goes in and buys. And, uh-oh. Shit. Now he's in trouble. That happens more often than you think, folks. Remember, I was a broker, so I heard every fucking story out there. You might even argue there were some in this wick, but they got released on this rally. Oh, excuse me. All right. So yeah, you can see where the resistance should come in here. Right up there. Right up here. There's 38.2. If we can clear through these levels, look left. Notice the next major pivot point is that high. Right at that 50% level. So there's your target window. I think that's pretty clear. And then, sort of final coup de grace, what could we draw off of this W that will help you see upside objectives? How about chaos theory? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And we go boobity boo, and boobity shmoo, and boobity coo, and there you go. So interesting, if we can get 2.618, it's a rally into this wick, where there's probably a whole bunch of guys sleeping on the couch. And if we can get a rally into 4669, that's a rally into this wick and release those guys from sleeping on the couch. So it's interesting how both the couch surfers, they're lining up actually quite nicely with the fog and bombs. So maybe look to try and pick some up at around, looks like about $4 or so. I'd be looking to take profits at $8. What a surprise, a double. Probably be interesting to do like Ben's 72% correction. And what's a 38.2 off of that? Or something like that. Can't remember how that goes again. Let's see. We can go here to 0. Whoops. Coordinates, right? So coordinates 0. And we want to see 70.2. So there's 72% retracement of the range. And if we go off of here, back up, 38.2 bounce off of that level, which it didn't do. But that would have been buying at 11 and selling at 22. Oh, what a surprise. I might argue that now this thing's even cheaper. And they're at $5-6, 38.2, $17. Hell, you could get greedy and sell half on a triple. I wouldn't recommend it, but nonetheless, you could do it if you really wanted to. And interestingly enough, somebody's saying that's your 88.6. What do you mean by that? You mean down here? If we go 88.6, and is it 88.6?
The 86 where that
86 right there.
That GAN target becomes your 38.2. Is that right?
So there's is that what you mean? 88.6. Interesting how we W off of that 88.6. So I don't know whether this is going to work, but would you get a double from here? 5.59, move back to 72, $11.
Yeah.
There's a double. So interesting if you buy this and we get a revisit of that 72, revisit of 4669, actually technically revisit at 2.618, anything up in this area here and you're laughing. So that's a good idea. Well, it's probably an interesting story to look into. And anybody who's on TRI, that's probably an interesting name that we should all maybe kick around. And maybe we would go buy some tomorrow or the next day. It's a good idea. Thank you very much, Shamu. And of course, what do you think I want you doing now, Shamu, with a chart like this? If you listen to Grimm, you know you have to do it 100 bloody times. So what do I want you doing? What should you have been doing? What should you have been logging as of, and hell, I can even give you the exact date, right? As of here. There is your buy signal. What do you, and don't tell me you got to go ahead and bought this, because you're not supposed to yet. But I want you paper trading, right? Doing 100 of these damn things. So you get so good at this, you can see these things in your sleep. That's the whole point of the exercise. Yeah. Okay, well, we gave you an extra half an hour there, so that was kind of cool. Totally unexpected. I do see a few more people joined the video after I corrected myself. If anything, Ben, could you do me a favor? Or even Paul, it doesn't really matter. But can you guys, one of you guys, remember just to ask me next broadcast, just to check whether I've actually made this a public video or not?
Will do.
I'd appreciate it. Oh, and journal. Nice. Nice addition there, Shamu. Nice addition. I like that. Okay, let's get into predictions, because predictions are always fun. Nobody's ever right 100% of the time, but it sure is fun. Ooh, next Wednesday is the 20th. Ooh. Do we start moving up in earnest now? I think I'm going to, believe it or not, I think I'm going to go with the +1. because I think if we haven't started to rally by then, I think we will by next Wednesday actually do something fancy here. So that's my vote. What do you say, Uber Bull? Are you
Same thing. +2.
+2? All right.
A broken clock is right 2 times a day, so.
Excellent. And Ben, what do you think? Are we gonna have like a clean sweep of bullishness here?
I think so. I think I want to put a +1 too. Just stick with that.
Did you say a +1 too? So 12? Jesus, now that's bullish. That's hey, there's a baby on the table. That's good luck. So you're gonna go with a +1?
Yep.
That scares me. Maybe I should change my vote. That'd be funny.
Too late.
I bet the market's gonna be down next Wednesday.
Probably, yeah.
When's the next Fed meeting? Because remember we had that Fed meeting
27, I
and then
guess.
the day after the whole fucking market collapsed. Isn't it? I think it's on the 6th. No, I guess it's not on the 16th. I wonder when the next Fed meeting is. It's got to be coming up soon. So, anyway. All right. Closing thoughts. Who wants to go first? I'd ask Paul for his closing thoughts, but I could probably script them for you. But I don't know. Tell me what you're thinking here, Paul. Anything new words of wisdom for these people?
Yeah, the Fed is on 27.
Fed is on the 27th of July.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, good. So that means actually we've got a window for this thing to rally.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. All right, cool.
Yeah, for me it's the same thing. Just trade your setups, lower your risk because it's the hard mode now. You see a lot of tails, a lot of wicks. But trade with small risk. You'll not learn if you don't trade, if you don't try it, you don't repeat the process, if you don't try the same setups at least 100 times.
Good.
I have a couple of setups. I'm practicing every day. I looking for the same setups. Now I can see a setup in the chart without putting any indicator. I just see that pattern in the chart.
Good. That's what you have to get to.
But that comes with a lot of practice.
Yeah.
It's not about I'm better or I'm worse than anyone else. But I'm just practicing every day, and I can see patterns in the chart.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, people, but you have to get to the point where you go, hey, I've seen this before. I know how this story goes.
Yep.
Excellent words of wisdom, sir. Appreciate it. Interesting. Great Del Moody always asks, am I early before entering a trade? Keep in mind, I actually have an expression to Great Del Moody that I tell everybody, including all my clients and everybody who I've ever worked with. Brian is usually right, and frankly speaking, my analysis is usually pretty good, but Brian is usually early. So it's interesting how you that's your comment. Am I early? I know I just simply answer yes. To me, I can't answer for you. Anyway. All right, and Ben, you have the closing thought here tonight. What's a word of wisdom for these good people that's gonna set them up for success here?
PMA.
Oh, that's good.
Love to Brian and Liam tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Start off there. First things first. And the second thing, I read something today that I had read quite a while back, but it kind of ties into. It's been really cool to watch you do the Transparency Pact and kind of just see you demonstrating best practices through that.
Cool.
So that's been a real treat. And there was this quote that research shows that when someone publicly shares their goals, they have around 65% chance of success. However, having a specific accountability partner boosts that chance to 95%.
95, eh?
Yeah, so I mean, they're pretty good returns on an investment. And so I'm once I get my butt through the education program, I think that's going to be, I'd love to get onto something like that. Just
Excellent.
because,
I mean,
yeah, I
you
mean,
get, for whatever it's worth, Ben's referring to on the site, everybody gets given a dashboard to work with, sort of day one. And of course, all students, I expect you to use this extensively. Not only do our proprietary tools, I think, give us great edge in the marketplace, but we also have a journaling tool that we built a while ago. And just recently, I have another associate of mine who we're seriously considering relocating to Europe to create sort of like a trading kind of, I don't even know what the expression is. Like we want to take this TRI thing, which is just a digital experience, and we want to manifest it into actually a real campus where we all sit together and we live in a fucking really cool place and we just trade away and just have fun in a physical location. And he's an aspiring futures trader. And I was like, dude, we have to now take this to the next level where it just, we have to do this now. Clearly you want to do this, but we have to transition from just fucking around to actually you making money from trading. And the number one thing, as Ben just said there, the number one thing that I've noticed how to set people up to succeed in this trading life is you have to journal. And you have to be accountable for everything that you do. You have to openly tell people where you buy. You have to openly tell people where you sell. And if it's just your group, like your trading partner, like Ben was saying, that's fine. I mean, the problem with Brian, of course, and my parents always used to tell me this, is Brian always tries to make his life as fucking difficult as possible. So what do? Instead of just, like the guys in the fucking CME, they were like, Brian, quit with this fucking save the world nonsense and just get back in the pit and trade, god damn it. And I was prop trading there, so really all they wanted me to do was trade for them and make them a whole bunch of money and quit with this fucking religious nonsense of saving the world. No, Brian's like, hey, I gotta go teach all these people how to do this and I'm gonna show them. And being an open book and actually putting yourself out there where every single thing that you do in the marketplace is accountable and you have no way of hiding. You better be an open book and tell the people the truth, because if it'll show in your trading if you're not lying to them. It's been a really cool challenge. I'm really proud of my associate, who I really want to get this trading partner sort of, operation up and running. I'm very proud at how serious he is about this. And this is basically what we do every single day, is we just hold ourselves accountable for what we do, and we call it the Transparency Pact at TRI. And anybody's welcome to join. But at the same time, too, if you say, hey, Brian, I want to join, then don't fuck around with me. If you're not journaling, then get the fuck out of our faces. We don't even want to talk to you. You have to do this. And there's no more bullshit. So, anybody who's watching this video and you're like, wow, that's cool. This is how you take your trading to the next level to become a professional, is you have to be an open book about what it is that you're doing. So, anyway, that's what Ben was referring to. Sorry to be so at length there, but I have to say, I'm actually pretty proud of myself for putting this Transparency Pact into place and getting my various partners to commit to it. And thank you, Ben. I appreciate that this resonates with you as well. It really means a lot to me. So that's cool. All right, so if everybody could give a nice little karmic best wishes for Liam and I on our grand Lower Mainland tour tomorrow. Every Thursday and Sunday we do a 4-hour grand tour of the Lower Mainland because Liam likes his car rides and nobody else will do it for him. So Dad gets euchred into it. As well too, though, he gets his McDonald's, which of course he loves his McDonald's. Can't believe it now. His 6-piece chicken McNugget meal and McDouble cheeseburger, $14. Fuck this world. Anyway, thank heavens. The good state, the taxpayers, Wade, you are actually paying for Liam's McDonald's. That's special needs in BC. Man, they got a fucking golden ticket here. So there's no way I would buy him that McDonald's. Remember, I'm a cheap ass. But thankfully, the good people of British Columbia give him an allowance. So anyway, best wishes for Liam and I. Appreciate it. We'll see everybody on the site tomorrow. I might come in and harass Julian, but I do like to let him do his presentation on Thursdays. Thank you very much, Ben, for a great contribution again tonight. Thank you very much, Paul. Great contribution. I really like the vibe of our teamwork here, and the 3 very unique, different ways that we look at the market and how they actually work quite nicely in conjunction. So, okay, everybody, shall we leave it at that? Have yourselves a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. PMA for the win. Maybe, Ben, could we update this app with a couple of those charts that we did up here tonight? I don't know whether we can do that or not.
Yeah. If we've got links to them, I'll pop them in.
Yeah, I threw the charts in the lounge there. I guess I just did one. I don't know. Paul, do you want to maybe just slide Ben a link to your chart deck or charts or whatever, and maybe Ben can incorporate those somehow into this? That would be totally awesome. But you don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
All right, cool. And somebody was asking me, how do we get access to this? Like I said there a moment ago, Ben put this really cool app together, I guess about a year ago. And that's how you can access this stuff that we talk about here tonight. So I guess we can get rid of that thing, eh? So,
yeah.
All right. Have yourselves what's that? Sorry, sir?
I was saying it's definitely due for an update.
Yeah, a little bit, eh? All right, thank you very much, guys. Excellent job as always. The only thing I think left for us to say tonight is a big hearty bye for now.